So what do they call you?
Uh, like as far as like my name, they call me Carl, just Carl. But
You don't have
like
a
my
nickname, an alias?
yeah, my family name they call me Kaji. Like it's a native name my family gave to me, so everybody knows me as Kaji.
Kaji, man, what are you incarcerated for? How long is your sentence, sir?
I'm doing 39 years, 8 months for manslaughter. I got 85%. I was 21 at the time of my crime, and it's things happen, and now I'm here. 15 plus years later, and I'm just trying to just do the time and make it back home.
Where are you from out here on the streets?
I'm from Fresno, California.
Do you or did you at any point in time in your life belong to any type of gangs or groups, organizations, or anything like that, sir?
Yes. I'm associated with the Fresno Bulldog gang, street gang.
So first and foremost, before anything, Mr. Oliver, sir, I want to go ahead and say thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing me to be able to share your story, and thank you for opening up. I know it's not an easy thing to do. This is an open platform, Oliver. You're able to speak about whatever you want, talk about whatever you want. It won't be edited out. This is your space, so just feel comfortable, okay?
Yeah, I got you. It was, as a kid, it's like growing up in the ghetto neighborhoods, in Fresno, California. Like there's just you see a lot of drugs and violence, growing up in gangs. So it's like eventually, like a lot of the street kids, running around the neighborhoods. Eventually, you just get brought up in that lifestyle, because it's just the minority, is living in that neighborhood. It's like eventually you get drawn into it, and so like I had both of my parents growing up, but they were in drugs, they were involved in drugs. I have family that are gang members, so it's like I seen a lot of that growing up, like people in and out of prison, and on drugs and partying, and just everything that you hear about that goes on, and like in the ghettos and stuff like that. So it's like I grew up in that environment, but I had a choice, I could have went to stayed in school and stuff like that, but it's like it's like when you grow up in that lifestyle, it's like it's attractive, you get drawn to it. It's like, oh, that looks cool, and like as you see as a kid, you see like oh look at the older homies, they got females, they got and all the all the cool stuff that looks cool, having females and just out there, hustling and stuff like that, like just the average, like the typical lifestyle of being in the ghetto, like in gangs and all that. So it's like.
May I ask what Bulldog neighborhood you're associated with, or were associated with?
Oh, I'm a Lewis Street Fresno Bulldog. I'm still associated. It's like I don't want to sit here and like try to like praise it and all that. Like I know that that's the lifestyle I chose and all that. But it's like. When I get home, I want to just leave this lifestyle behind, and just be a civilized person, again.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But to answer your question, yes, I'm still associated with the Fresno Bulldog gang. I'm from Lewis Street. That's from my neighborhood in Fresno.
Would you be able to tell me, basically, who do you guys get along with and who do you guys not get along with? Because from my understanding, I could have sworn I heard that you guys literally feud amongst each other. Is that true?
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I won't get too much into it, but yeah, it's like as far as that's like with any gang, eventually, you're gonna clash amongst your own gang because there's different neighborhoods, amongst the city. So yeah, that's true. Like we do bump heads with each other. It's like. I would have to say, like every gang's like that, like there's so many neighborhoods from every gang. It's like eventually you clash out there on the streets, and it usually that's how it starts. Like one person got beat up by another person from another neighborhood, and then that's how stuff escalates. That's like it's just like the typical way of how things go, and it just leads to chaos. But yeah, that's how it is, But yeah, it's like But yeah, it is true though, to answer your question. Yeah, like yeah, we do bump heads amongst each other. You know, it's like just like any other gang. You know, it's like it's a given. You know.
A month before your
Yes.
incident, what is going on in your life? What are you doing?
As far as like before I came to prison for my charges.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah, before that though, before your
Okay.
crime, like let's just say a month or 2 months before your crime. What is going on in your life?
Yes.
What are you doing in your life? Are you married? Are you working? Are you going to school? What's going on in your life at that point in time?
At that point in my life, like a month or two before I caught my crime, like I was on the streets. I had just paroled from prison on a violation, and I was just out there running around being high, you know, like back into the same old mix, you know, just on drugs, selling drugs, and just running around being crazy, you know, and running around with guns, you know, and just out there just living that lifestyle, you know, like just out there in the neighborhood, just roaming around. And before you know it, it's like I get caught in a situation, you know, and then next you know, like I'm in jail for manslaughter, and you know, it happens so fast, you know, and it's like that's like what I was doing before, prior to the crime. It's like I was out there like just running around on drugs, you know, just with no sense of direction of what I wanted to do in my life, and just running around crazy, you know, just living in the moment, high, selling drugs, you know, just being young and dumb, you know. If I didn't have a gun, if I wasn't high, if I wasn't running around out there just in bad environments when I shouldn't be there, when I should be at home or working, I mean, I probably would have still been out and having my freedom, you know, living life, probably married and had children, you know. But you know, it's like I robbed myself of that opportunity, you know, just by choosing to be high and running around with guns and all that. So it's like eventually, you know, it got me in prison, you know. And
If you would kindly take us there to that day that your whole world turned upside down. You woke up. How the hell did this whole day play out? What happened? Who was the victim? And what compelled you to make this mistake?
it was like I can remember the day exactly. It was just one of those days, you know. It's like I woke up. I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time, and we were staying at a friend's house, and we had just like we were partying and all that for a couple of days, and we crashed out that night and went to sleep. I woke up that morning, and it just something just seemed off, you know. It's like one of those days. It was like today just ain't one of those days, and I was just chilling, smoking a cigarette, and I was like, yeah, I want to get high, you know. That was like my first thing, you know, is because when you're addicted to drugs, it's like after you get your sleep and all that, you take a break, and then you right when you recuperate, you mean like after you get your rest and all that, you want to start back up and party. So that was my plan for that day, you know. But before you know it, you know, I'm walking down the street, and I got into a situation to where just within seconds, you know, the next thing you know, it's like I'm bumping heads with some dudes, and then before you know it, it's like I pulled out a gun, and then it was just so fast, like whoa, you know. Before you know it, I just remember the gun going off, and I was taking off running down the street, you know, and before you know it, it's like I'm running, and then there's cops, sirens, and helicopters, and I'm hiding in the backyard, and then I eventually made my way out of the neighborhood, and then I got busted a week later, though, out of state. But yeah, it's like it just happened so fast, and then I seen myself on the news of that very same night, and they said my name on the news and wanted for murder and the shooting, and I was just like, it was just one of those things. It was like, yeah, I couldn't like damn, like this is it, like I'm already they know who I am, and it's like man, what happened, you know? I was still trying to figure it all out, like what the hell just happened, and yeah, and I was just on the run, you know, just living day to day, and then before you know it, I got busted, and then that's when the reality sank in, like, damn, like you know, I messed up, you know, like, I might spend the rest of my life in here, you know, and
who was the victim, and what was your relationship with him?
It was just a complete stranger. I didn't know who it was, you know. It was just one of those things where, like, you get into an altercation, and then like an argument ensued, and then before you know it, like, yeah, it was just like I thought I was going to be jumped, and then I had a gun on me and I used it, and I mean there's no excuse, you know. Like, I'm wrong for using the gun, period, you know. But I mean, I realize it now, you know. But yeah, the victim was somebody I didn't know, and yeah, it's like, unfortunately, you know, I took someone's life, you know, and I live with that every day, you know. It's like I mean, it's you don't realize it, how many people you hurt until years go by, you know. It's like they lost a family member, and then
was it gang related?
Lost a family member because no, it wasn't gang related. No, it was just one of those, like, it just out of nowhere, you know. It's like, whoa, like, you know, it just took a left turn, you know, and before you know it, I was about to be jumped, you know. At least I thought I was, and then I had a gun on me, you know, and his altercation ensued real fast, and then before you know it, I started shooting, you know, and somebody died. Somebody lost their life. Yeah,
and you said there was two people at the scene, right? You said there was two people at the scene, and one of them actually survived?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Well, actually, there was two people that were shot. You know, one lives. It was actually like I want to say it was an older gentleman and an older guy and his two sons, and yeah, it was a crazy situation. I mean, I'm not trying to make no excuses, you know. I take full responsibility, but yeah, it's like I had an argument with him, and before you know it, I thought I was going to be jumped, and then I shot one, and I shot the other, and then I just took off running after that, you know. And then next thing you know, there was two people shot on the ground. One passed away, and the other one survived. And yeah, it was just a crazy situation. You know, it was one of those things. Like,
and you said it was father and son?
Yeah, so like, yeah, it was
who died? Yeah, the father or the son?
The son died. Yeah, he was 19 years old. I was 21 at the time, and the son that unfortunately took his life, you know, he was 19. And then the father at the time, he was probably like in his 50s. So yeah, it was like, yeah, it was just a crazy situation, you know. It was like, it was nothing. I mean, I had no ill will against him or nothing, you know. It was just an unfortunate situation where, I mean, I just happened to be holding the gun on me at that time, you know, and just came across these people that I got into an altercation with, and things happened so fast, and then I used.
How did this altercation start, my friend? Was it a looking? Was it mad dogging? Was it money owed? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I would like to know what caused someone to lose their life.
I would say, like, I just remember that day, right? Like, I was just going through the neighborhood, and then I seen some people, and I was looking for somebody, and I inquired about it, and then they were like, no, they're not here, and then I thought, okay, and then I left, and talked to a couple other people I knew that I seen in the neighborhood, and I was on my way, and I was about to leave, and then I seen them coming down across the street, and they approached me in the middle of the street, and then it was kind of like one of those situations, like, what's up? And it's like, what? Like, what's up? And then, you know, that's how it started, and then before you know it, an argument ensued within seconds, and then before you know it, I was shooting the gun that I had and taking off running. It was just so fast, you know, like a blur in the blink of an eye, and that's how it all happened, you know. It was just something stupid and simple as that, you know. It's like, I mean, there was no reason for nobody to die that day, but like I said, I take responsibility for that. Like I had a gun on me, and it just, it happened. It's an unfortunate situation, but that's how things happen. When you're out there, when you have guns, and it can escalate into something that's really serious. Somebody can lose your life if you're out there running around playing with guns. And like I realize that now. Like if I wouldn't have had a gun, period, like nobody would have lost their life that day. If anything, it might have been a fight at the worst. But at least nobody would have died.
Now, looking back in retrospect, do you wish you would have gotten jumped and not done
yes.
with the gun?
Yes, for sure. Like now, like I don't want to sit here and cuss on your show, but yes, I would prefer to be jumped and just take my my whipping, and then just another day, I would have preferred to have that, just be jumped and then just take it as it comes and still be out there and have my freedom, than how it did happen, to where I had a gun on me, and pulled it out instead and used that, and but yeah, for sure. Like to answer that question, I would rather have been jumped than having a gun that day, because I would still have my freedom,
So this unfortunate thing happened. What did you do, man? Where did you go, and how did it feel to look on TV and to see your face? How did they even point you out? Did they know you?
I was I was known around the neighborhood where I was living and staying, so like certain people seen me that day, and my name got brought up, like my alias, and I'm already in the file as far as like in like the parole like roster and all that, so they know like I'm a known gang member around the neighborhood.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They call it like a parolee at large, so I was already on the run, so they're already looking for me. And then my name got brought up, and then they ran it in the database, and then they're like, oh yeah, we know exactly who you're looking for, or who we're looking for, and then they put my name out that same night, and then I was on the news that very same night, and I was just like, it was sinking in, but it didn't fully sink in yet, It was just like, my first thought was like, damn, like, if I get busted, I'm gonna do life, like pretty much it's over, That was like my only thought. So like of course, like you're at that time, especially like, I would think maybe it's just a natural instinct for anybody. Like when you see something like that, like your face on the news for a serious crime, your first thought is it's time to run, So that's what I did, and I went on the run for like a week straight. And then I got busted out of state. I was in a stolen car, and then I got busted, pulled over, and then once they ran my name and found out who I was, they were like, "Oh, this guy's wanted for something serious." And then I got it back to California from Arizona, because that's where I got busted at. And then I eventually made my way back into the prison system, and then from there back to Fresno County Jail, and then I was fighting that case for about almost 2 years until I took a plea deal for 39 years, 8 months with 85% for manslaughter, and then I went back to prison, and it's been 15 plus years now, since the time of the crime, and I still have like 21 years left to go. But the good thing is now it's like with all the laws changing, so my case is actually in the appeals right now, so I got some type of hope right now, so I'm hoping to get some time knocked off to where I can come home sooner than later, So that's what's going on right now, as far as like in today's world, as far as my world, as far as like with the laws changing, so Like, I mean, there is a lot of good things going on as far as like laws changing for when people were young at the time of their crime. So it's like, I mean, I'm thankful for it because, yeah, I was young. There's no excuse. Like, you know, I was still old enough to know like what I was doing, but still, like, as far as like all the like the science behind it, as far as how they're saying that when you're this age, like your mind ain't fully developed. So I kind of actually believe that now because the way I think now is nowhere near the way I was thinking at 21 years old. Like, you're just living in the moment. You don't care. You're just living it day to day, and you don't think about the future or what the future may hold. And, you know, you don't think about life like that. But as you get older, you start to think about life like what do you want in life? Where's my life headed? You know, you start to dwell on life issues and like stuff that should be thought about, you know, as far as like what you want to do with your life, you know. But when you're young and you're out there running around, you know, just running the streets, like that, yeah, that's like the farthest thing from your mind. You know?
Obviously, this
You have
person.
60 seconds remaining.
Can you call
Hello?
me back, sir?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Obviously, you took this individual's son's life, and I'm sure your face was ingrained in his mind. Can you tell me what it was like the first time you guys laid eyes on each other inside that courtroom? What was it like?
As far as like seeing like the father of the guy that whose life that I took.
Yes, sir.
I seen him in court. You know, he took the stand and he was testified and pointing me out and everything. And I mean, I see it now. Like, you know, like as far as like, I mean, I don't want to sit here and get really into it, but like, you know how they say the street code, like all, like. But I mean, I didn't know him. He was a complete stranger, but of course he's gonna point me out. You know. So I was like, oh, this guy, he's telling on me. You know, at that time, my mind said, yeah, like I'm really done. You know, he's gonna tell on me. But when I looked into his eyes, though, like I seen, like I was like, damn, like I really didn't want to look him in the eyes, you know, because I was just like, I mean, what more can I say, you know? Like, I mean, I took this guy's son's life, you know, but when I did lock eyes with him, like I seen hate in his eyes, you know, like I just seen that look, like you know, you know, like just yeah, like. I guess you could say like the best word to describe would be hate, you know, like at that moment, you know, which is understandable, you know, like you mean like his son, he don't have his son no more because of me, you know, so yeah, so when I remember being in the courtroom when I seen him when he looked at me and they were asking questions like, can you point out the defendant? Is he in the room today? And he looked right at me and pointed me out and he's like, yeah, he's standing, he's right there, sitting right there. And yeah, I seen like just like a hate in his eyes, you know, which is understandable. I mean, and it's messed up, you know, because I put the hate there, you know, as far as like what's in his heart, you know, that's what he feels towards me. And yeah, you know, it's I mean, it's when you really think about it now, like when I think about it, it's sad, you know, like that you can have that much of an effect on somebody emotionally and mentally, where like you instill such deep-rooted hate, and it's a complete stranger, you know, never even met each other ever in your life until that day, and then the extreme happens, you know. I take his son's life, and I shoot him, and he lives, and it's like, dang, like you know, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's really understandable, you know, for him to have those feelings, you know, I can see it in his eyes, but it's you know, it's an unfortunate situation, man, and I mean, I live with that regret every day. Like, I realize now, like, to the effect that I had on his family, you know, like, you know, like to have like just a hatred towards a complete stranger just because of the situation that happened, you know, and that's something that happens every day, you know, because unfortunately, just everywhere, you know, every city. I mean, everywhere. In the whole United States, you know, people are losing their lives every day, and through gun violence, and you know, and that's how it starts. You know, like there's that hatred, you know, gets born. You know, there's a hatred born that day. You know, it's like, and it's a sad thing, you know, but it's the world we live in, and no excuse, you know, but it's like, I mean, it's like it's a lifestyle we chose, you know, it leads to that, you know, but like if you can sit there and change that, you know, that's especially for like the youth, you know, it's like to hear it from somebody that's lived through it and been through it, it's like all the things that you're going to go through that comes with that lifestyle, you know, and it's like it's not worth it, you know, because all you're going to do is sit there and just you're missing out on life, you know. You sit there, you spend your years day after day just living in a cell in a box, you know, and getting in trouble in and out the shoe, out the hole, and yeah, it's just, yeah, it's, you know, it's not fun. I can say that much, you know, it sucks.
What has been the hardest thing about having to adjust to this 39 years prison sentence?
I would have to say like I was kind of like used to doing time because like from juvenile hall, and as soon as I turned 18, I came to prison on my first term. I caught a robbery when I was 18, and I did 2 years, got out, and came right back a month later on a violation, and did like 7 months, got out for like another month and a half, and came back for another 5 months violation. So at that time, it's like I was just so conditioned to used to doing time. So like the time was kind of like, I was, it's sad to say, I was kind of like already programmed to be used to doing time. And then, but when I finally did sink in, when I had to like realize like, dang, like the next 39 years of my life is going to be in here, like I guess the hardest thing would just to get used to was to actually get used to knowing like you're going to be in here for this many years. Like it's like you when you really think about it, you never want to get used to it, and because prison sucks, period. But like eventually, you got to sit there and face that reality. Like all you can do is try to just do your time the best way you can, and just stay positive, and just sit there and adjust to that to get in that type of a mindset, because not everybody has that mindset, you know. Like I mean now I have that mindset. Like I want to try to be positive and do good things like when I get out, you know, and never come back to prison. But in here, like, yeah, you'll get caught up in doing drugs and, you know, just being in and out.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Just in and out the hole for trouble, you know, just being in trouble. So, like, that's like a pastime. So, like, all that comes along with this territory, you know, as far as, like, being in prison. But the best way to get it, I guess, like, you know, like, I guess for as far as your question, you said what was the hardest thing to adapt to and get used to, like, I would have to say, like, just knowing that you're never going to really be, like, happy to see your family, like, the way you should, which would be every day, you know, if you were to have your freedom, and not having your wife, you know, and children, and, you know, like, I've never been married myself, but, I mean, eventually one day would like to get married, you know, and have a wife, but just adjusting to knowing, like, hey, I may never be happy and have a healthy relationship because of my crime and my lifestyle, you know. So it's like, you know, it's like it's one of those things, like, you gotta sit there and adjust to that and realize, like, this may be your reality, you know.
And for all the gangsters out there, for all the people out there who are actively banging or doing their thing or wanting to participate in this lifestyle, would you be able to tell them some of the things that they can expect going into this prison system, some things that they might not think of? For instance, having to share the cell with another man, having to smell another man every day, having to be told what to do, the bend over and cough, the mental anguish, the mental and emotional pain one must endure. Would you be able to enlighten on some of that real quick?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like if you choose this lifestyle, like all your privacy goes out the window. You have no privacy no more. Like, yeah, you come to prison and pretty much it's like you just get lined up with like maybe 10, 15 other dudes, and they're telling you how to get stripped down completely naked, and then it's like it's like you have no privacy no more. Everything is just out in the open. And yeah, you just like it's as far as like being a human being, it's like it's humiliating, because you have no privacy no more, and it's like you're just being told what to do. The COs run the show, They sit there like when it's time to go back to your cell, that's when you got to go back to your cell, and then, or if you get in trouble, like boom, you're going to be doing most of your time in the cell, and having to share a cell with another man is like, I mean, it sucks because it's confined quarters, like it's a small space, so it's like you got to really get used to that, and you got to like have common courtesy and learn to have common courtesy to like share, like as far as like certain times to where like, okay, like say I want to work out or something, like okay, I'm gonna use the floor for right now, so you need to get some water or anything so I'm not in the way, and then just gotta sit there and try to gain that mutual understanding of, okay, like you gotta sit there and make little time adjustments in order to move around the cell, because it's only so much space, so you got to learn to do that, and it's like, which kind of sucks, because nobody wants to sit there and have to adjust to a certain way of living, but that's the reality, like when you choose to run around out there and be a gang member, and you get caught up on some serious charges and do life for so many years, like, this is the reality, it's like no privacy no more. You eat at a certain time, and you're in the cell most of the time if you come to a higher level 4 prison. And there's always going to be some type of chaos or violence that may ensue. You never know. Like prisons a never-ending ticking time bomb. So it's like you never know what could happen. So it's like to come into that world when you're used to being out there, it's like it's a big change up, and you gotta adjust to it fast, or before you know it, it's like there's like it's real it's rugged in here, it's like people prey on the weak, like if you're not with it, like as far as like you want to be a gang member and all that, like if you ain't with it, it's like people are quick to you either get jumped on, and people get hurt,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
That's just the way how prison is, it's like it's a bunch of madness, it's a madhouse, that's all it is. So that's what like that's what you got to look forward to, like if you want to choose to keep going down the way they're going, living that lifestyle. Like this is it, it's like it doesn't get any better. You think out there is fun, wait till like they come in here and it's like a whole different ball game compared to like how they thought it was gonna be when they were out there, you come in here, it's like it's prison, There's just certain things, like there's just I guess you could say like there's just unwritten rules that go without saying, there's do's and don'ts, and then some people don't know how to pick up on that, and that's how you hear stories about people getting hurt all the time because they don't pick up on the prison lifestyle, and that's the reality how prison is. So it's like you go out there, you're running around and running amok, but once you come to prison, it's a different ball game, It's a madhouse, That's the best way I can put it. It's just a madhouse, and just never ending. All you can do is try to survive it and hope for the best and make it a home and stay out of here and never come back, you know?
Do you have any last message for anybody out there who's listening to this? Any last words that you would like to express, my friend?
Yeah, you know, I would just like to say to any of the youth that may hear this story, like, man, this is my name's Carl Oliver. You know, I'm from Fresno.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's my little short brief story. You know, it's like I mean, it can get ugly real fast, man. You know, and I mean, whether boy or girl out there, you know, if you choose to live a crazy life, you know, it's like this is the end result. You're going to be in prison for a majority of your time, and it's not fun. You know, it's the best. I mean, advice I can give, you know, stay out, stay in school, you know, and do something with your life, you know, because you're gonna regret it later as the years go by, and you have no wife, you know, you have no children, you know, and it sucks, you know. You deprive yourself of all the goodness that you could have had, but you sit there and spend your life in prison instead. It's not fun. I would advise me, do something with your life.